RPGs are not shy of badass heroes, but these two are both absolutely badass, once again, and obscure fighters.
Oh man, I'm so excited!
To clarify, we'll be giving them their best weaponry and armors. Weaponry?
Yuri, captain of the volunteer army.
And Max, the leader of the Shining Force.
He's not Wiz and I'm not Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armors, and skills to find out who would win a not death battle. The land of Yugdra was once a nice, calm continent. People were unified under the Holy King and peace was found.
That was until the arrival of the Black Army, an unknown horde of dark beasts that ravaged the land and also killed the Holy King.
Rest in peace. To combat these foul beasts, the Vice and Holy Capitals made an army of holy knights. And from that, a boy was inspired. This boy created the volunteer army alongside his sprite friend Pirika.
And this boy was named Yuri.
Stupider names aside, at least he's not Henry Stickmin. Yuri is the captain of the volunteer army, and one of the most powerful warriors in the Chain Chronicle universe.
Yuri has fought a wider variety of beasts than one would expect, including goblins, skeletons, zombies, slimes, werewolves, golems, wizards, knights, demons, dragons, bigger dragons, orcs, tribesmen, giant crabs, sea monsters, krakens, and godlike monsters, just to name a few.
A few. That's actually a lot. Despite being an ordinary human, he has shown incredible superhuman feats. It should be noted that as Chain Chronicle takes place mostly from his perspective, this gameplay footage will not usually show Yuri himself.
Yuri can pick up and carry Nicholas as if he was nothing. What, carrying a bodybuilder looking guy like this isn't enough? Well, how about being able to knock out Zarin? Yeah, this scary demon. No? Well, how about being able to match against the Black Knight? A demon-enhanced warrior who has been stated as having above-average strength even for a demon.
He is fast enough to keep up with Deed, who is said to move at the speed of the fastest hawk known. When diving, the average hawk can reach speeds of up to 120 miles per hour. But Deed is said to be as fast as the fastest. She is probably likely faster. And Yuri not only kept up with her, but even beat her. To put that into perspective, Deed is considered an entire Knight's Order on her own.
Want more examples of speed? He's able to slice up a wizard's staff into multiple pieces before they can throw an attack. And almost tag Mashidia, who literally has a speed-enhancing ability, and can fight alongside and against gunslingers without getting shot once.
Although some of that can be attributed to his Chronicle. More on that later.
This guy's speed is insane, yet his durability isn't too shabby either. He can tank getting punched by golems, scorched by dragon flame, and being bashed around by a giant-ass dragon.
He was able to continue fighting after being beaten so badly he could hardly see, managed to fight for almost an entire day against a giant golem, and can fight in a desert as if that was any normal area.
He can even survive being thrown so violently that he explodes, and after said event happened, he just got up and continued fighting. It took getting exploded and tossed several yards away to defeat the anime version of Yuri, who actually loses the final fight, proving how this version of Yuri is actually weaker. And being weaker, it says a lot when he continues fighting while suffering from the blackening.
The what?
It's a disease that slowly makes one turn into a demon.
That makes sense then. Well, most often his durability doesn't matter due to simply how skilled he is. He is more skilled than almost anybody in his army, including Holy Knights, War-Craving Ogres, Ninja Samurai, and Demons. He can sense and defend from surprise attacks, not sex, before they have indication of happening, and can read his opponent's style and figure out the best way to win with ease.
He defeated Shuza, who rules an entire country devoted to nothing but fighting, as well as Yoshitsugu, who is the second best of said country. He also defeated Rafalgar, leader of a combat-based tribe, Teresa, who is widely considered the strongest sword master on the continent, Angelica, one of the greatest assassins, Bariana, best of her tribe and wielder of the Silver Wolf God's power, and even himself. Yes, that Black Knight is in fact himself from an alternate future. This guy can literally outskill a more experienced version of himself.
That's not mentioning his many special abilities. It also should be noted that there is little footage we can find of these abilities, so we'll be playing miscellaneous gameplay footage when we don't have corresponding video. Sorry. For confirmation of your claims, you can check both of his wiki pages, rare and ultra rare. For 1 mana, he can use the Dash Blade, a straightforward and not very confusing attack that does 5 times regular damage and performs a knockback.
For 3 mana, he can use the more powerful Chrono Blade, a similar attack that does 13 times damage.
His Light Up Bond's passive ability increases his attack by 20% against bosses, which includes other characters in gameplay. And his Inspiration gives them a 5% heal every now and then. After analysing the length of one round, Reed deduced that the average time of a round was at least 30 seconds, meaning every 30 seconds, he basically heals.
But wait, what was that mana stuff we mentioned? Well, simply put, whenever a battle is started, you get a pool of mana. As Yuri will be fighting alone, this mana will, without a doubt, be red, and allow use of his abilities. As he replenishes mana every round, it will also take 30 seconds for him to get a mana refill if used.
But he can even summon it himself when needed, even when in a mana dispersing black mist. This allows him to enchant his regular Dash Blade to become an exploding fireball of death. I should have chosen a less cliche word.
Yep.
Yeah. However, it is a fireball so strong that it can one-shot a blackened dragon, which is like a superpowered dragon demon who's already powerful enough to rule the desert as a guardian before enchanted by demon powers, so...
yeah.
He wields a normal sword most of the time, but for this battle we'll be giving him the Black Knight sword for 3 reasons. 1. It belongs to a different version of him and was inherited from said person. 2. It can only be wielded by him. And 3. It allows the use of his last 2 abilities. Before that though, this sword should be known as the Ass Kicker, because that's exactly what it does. It can kick asses apparently.
With one swing, the Black Knight sword can slice clean through Lefrit, Ihelmina, and Parshell, 3 of the most powerful Knight Order leaders, all of which are wearing heavy armor, less so Ihelmina. Also, as the sword is better than a normal one, any feats his normal swords have are less than what the Black Knight sword can do, including slicing this giant beast in half with one swing.
The Black Knight sword also increases maximum health, enhances strength, critical hit chance, and defense.
But its greatest ability is to change Yuri into the Black Knight himself. Yes, he can change himself into a powerful demon lord for only 2 mana. Black Knight Yuri is insane. He gets a 40% strength increase, a 30% speed increase, and 25% damage reduction. He can also block projectiles and is immune to most magics, including those stones by Irenaeus, one of the most powerful demons story-wise. Oh, and he can fly.
And shoot big exploding lasers! But, unfortunately, the Black Knight form only lasts a grand total of 2 minutes. And without it, well, Yuri's not the most armored. He has no resistance to ranged or magic attacks, and his only defense is a buckler that he rarely uses unless in a really bad scenario.
But what does it matter? Yuri is capable of winning a world-class tournament with Freya, has leadership skills that rival even Holy Knight leader Wayne, whose ass he kicked. He performs a regimen of over 1,000 sword swings and 100 push-ups, with extra sparring 3 times a day, just for training, and has no problem leading a militia of over 500 people.
Really not Boomstick. Really. Read the script again.
Huh? Oh, my bad. He can lead a militia of over 500 people, as well as the entire Holy Army. Fucking hell!
That's more like it. He's certainly earned his reputation on Yukra. However, we haven't even got to his 3 greatest strengths, and his easily best feat.
Oh boy! First off, there's his final ability. When as the Black Knight, he can pay 1 mana to use Chrono Breaker, Abyss. This attack does 3 times normal damage to everything in front of him, then an extra 17 times damage to one thing directly in front of him, including knockback in that as well. Sadly, it does revert him back to his normal form afterwards, but as he can transform back with no cost aside from 2 mana, this doesn't really hinder him.
And remember that thing I mentioned earlier? Well, then there's his Chronicle. After defeating the Black Knight, which is himself, which is confusing, he took the Chronicle. What does this book do? Well, nothing directly, but it indirectly influences fate so that he will survive. How it does this isn't even known though.
Finally, there's his unbreakable will.
Yes, Yuri's greatest strength is the cliche of the power of the friendship.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Ho ho ho! Really? Just like my grandma? Whatever. Unlike most anime, friendship doesn't physically enhance him. Instead, his bonds with his army and those close to him is his motivation. his undying will. It gives him the motivation to get up no matter what and keep on fighting. And because of this, he defeated the Black King in his own dimension.
And the Black King is the embodiment of death, darkness, and evil turned into a dragon!
Aside from his lack of defense against ranged magic attacks, he's also very sensitive and just too trusting. One could call him naive, but this rarely influences a fight for Yuri. His biggest weakness is a lack of magical defense.
Seems like the writers forgot though, as he survived a point-blank hit from Claudia, who was able to defeat a whole battalion of magic-resistant troops with magic! And this wasn't her holding back. He implied an insult to his sister, an instant berserk button for her.
Simply, one mustn't fuck with Yuri, unless they're suicidal.
その程度のマナで何ができる俺たちの光をつかむ
In ages long forgotten, light fought the darkness. Cliche bullshit like that. Led by the dark dragon, the darkness battled hard against the light, led by the ancients. The dark dragon was eventually defeated and cast into another dimension.
But in 1,000 years, the Lord of Darkness vowed to return. And in 1,000 years, he did.
Yeah. Enter Max, a young warrior called by the king to investigate the Gate of Ancients. After shit went down, Max became the leader of a large militia and went out to eventually kill the Dark Dragon itself.
How did he do that? Well, there are several reasons.
Boy. For one thing, Max is a very skilled fighter. He's implied to be the most skilled fighter in the Shining Force itself. He outskills warriors like Xylo, Ken, Mei, and is so skilled that not only do the Knights of Runefaust envy him, but even Kane! Yeah, the guy who defeated his master, called him out on being surprisingly skilled, that one.
We didn't even mention him before. But anyway, he's skilled enough to face off against a lot of shit. Speaking of which, he fights a lot of shit.
That's so surprising!
Robots, flying birdmen, centaurs, dwarves, goblins, dragons, chimeras, bigger dragons, golems, puppets, zombies, spellcasters, army generals, and lots more shit. He tanks all that and more.
What's with all these people fighting all this shit? It's like, what? With his armor, Max can tank hits from artillery batteries, explosion shooting crossbows, giant golems, again, the most powerful spellcasters in the game, don't know who they are, the Dark Dragon's breath attack, regular arrows, swords, axes, giant laser beams, and also the armor can tank hits from almost everything else.
That's if they can even hit him. Max is fast enough to tag a Pegasus Knight. While almost anyone can hit one, it's much more impressive for Max, who wears that heavy-ass armor.
As Pegasus Knights are meant to be faster than Xylo, this puts Max's speed around that of your average wolf, or basically 60 kilometers per hour.
He's strong enough to slice through golems with a normal sword, stand completely still while being blown up and being zapped by lightning, while wearing full armor.
But for his truly impressive feats, we need to look to Max's past. Max is the brother of Kane, who we introduced thoroughly now. He is one of the main antagonists for most of the game, and he was washed ashore with amnesia. To give him his best abilities, we must check the remake of Resurrection of Dark Dragon that all of his footage is from. In this, we learn his story of being cryogenically frozen and that he was trained from the birth to battle the Dark Dragon. This was a mouthful of shit, but okay. Because of his bloodline, he can use various magic spells, if you don't get the point already.
Spark is a very basic electrical attack that he can amp up to level 3 for more coverage and damage.
Egress is an egg. It's a spoken spell that lets him teleport, although he only uses it to escape from battles, which in this case is completely useless. He can also use Super Egress, which actually fully heals him. That's actually useful.
But my favorite is the aptly named Supernova.
While it is no exploding star, the Supernova is a giant magic laser beam fired from orbit that obliterates anything it hits, which is basically the Death Star. While levels 1 to 3 are strong, level 4 is literally so big that it wipes out the screen and engulfs everything it hits, even harming the Dark Dragon. But it can't even blow up Elderon, probably.
Boom! Suck on there, bitch!
His spells might be cool, which they are, but his weapon is nothing to shake your head at. Why would you do that? Max's ultimate weapon is called the Curse Breaker. a powerful green blade that has unmatched power in the Shining Force universe. It is the strongest weapon in the game and can cast yet another spell, this one being Freeze level 3, the second strongest ice spell in the game.
But his spells do cost mana, and he can only cast Supernova level 4 so many times before he eventually runs out.
Still can't blow up Alderaan. Not like he needs it usually. He has defeated the immensely powerful General Elliot, his brother Kane, the High Mage Dark Soul, that's the name of a game, but whatever, the bitch Michaela, and the embodiment of Malice the Dark Dragon itself.
Not to mention that after stabbing the Dark Dragon, he couldn't leave him. Instead, he went down, falling into the ocean while in a giant metallic island and attached to the greatest evil in the world. Yet he somehow survived! Really?
Max is a great hero, fighting off the forces of evil with relative ease and outclassing almost all of his teammates.
But he's not perfect. Wait, we can't actually seem to find any glaring weaknesses. He's pretty well-rounded and can cover any flaws. Well, okay then.
Alright, the weapons are ready and the combatants are set. Let's end this actually worthwhile debate once and for all.
It's time for a not death battle!
Fight!
While Max had some advantages, Yuri was overall a better hero.
First, let's look at Max's actual advantages. Max's durability far exceeds that which Yuri has demonstrated. While Yuri can tank giant explosions, attacks from hundreds of monsters, and being beaten down to near death, Max can tank all that shit, as well as magical attacks, demon attacks, and being electrocuted in full armor.
Max also has magic, which is Yuri's greatest weakness due to his lack of defense against it. Speaking of which, Max also has the better armor, as he actually wears some, but not Boomstick, please proceed to mow down all this shit.
And that's where it all goes south for Max.
Yep.
Yuri is strong enough to knock out the monstrous demon's Aaron, while Max has trouble pushing through a guard. And while Max is as fast as a wolf, Yuri is at least as fast as a hog, making him more than 3 times faster if we lowball that. And before you say it's just said and not proven, not only is Pirika a fragment of the world's will, and would know the truth, but the entire game is based on what is said for feats. Pirika is also shown to be consistently accurate in what she says for physical abilities.
Want a better analysis? Well, as Yuri can almost hit Machidia even while holding back, and Machidia has a 30% speed increase, then that means Machidia can move at around 58 kilometers per hour, and Yuri is pretty close to that goddamn speed.
And don't forget, we are making some huge assumptions on Max's speed.
Yuri also has better stamina, while Max has no real evidence of great stamina. Yuri has fought a giant golem for almost an entire day without getting tired, and helped build an entire city, finished building, and only then fell unconscious.
And Yuri's abilities were overall better than Max's. His skill easily eclipsed Max due to beating far greater foes than Max. He has fought in more battles, and while Max can lead a group of around 20 plus people, Yuri can lead an entire militia of over 500 people.
Plus the rest of the fucking army.
And while Max may be considered a prodigy in combat, that's only in training. While Yuri at a young age managed to kill a whole horde of Black Army soldiers, and also learned to use an ability that can take years to learn out of sheer will and, well, skill.
But the biggest factors are these. Firstly, weaponry. Max's Cursebreaker and Yuri's Black Knight sword are fairly even. Max's Cursebreaker can kill the Dark Dragon in one hit, while Yuri's sword can cleave through practically anything. While the weapons themselves don't outclass each other, the Cursebreaker grants Ice Level 3, which seems to make it better. Only for the Black Knight sword to win by making Yuri into the Black Knight himself. The Black Knight is the form where he just stomps this entire fucking fight.
Without the Black Knight, Max could have won with Supernova on its own, but the Black Knight negates that. While yes, he could hurt the Dark Dragon, this is mostly due to the force it hits with. The Black Knight has tanked his from Irenaeus, which is no small feat. He is the most powerful demon short of the Black King in the Chain Chronicle world, and negates Max's advantages. His durability outclasses Max. His lack of magic is no longer a factor as he is now immune to it and uses it himself, and he wears armor that far eclipses Max's.
Now, it's certainly plausible that Max could use Super Egress to fully restore his health. However, when considering the sheer power the Black Knight form has, this is unlikely to truly do anything too helpful in the long run. Yuri can even heal himself over time. Hell, Yuri's determination alone can overcome it. Even when he was just a child, he just trained by cutting this tree over and over, season after season, until he just smashed through the fucking thing to the ground.
Another hindrance that could fuck Max right up the ass is his mana.
That's gay.
Max has a finite limit. Yuri can both create his own and rely on his Blight of Bonds to get him more. Bum bum.
But the biggest factor in Yuri's favor is the difference between the two's greatest feats. Yuri and Max both killed the embodiment of evil and darkness, being the Black King and the Dark Dragon respectively. But these feats aren't quite accurate to each other. Yuri won with a normal sword, by not only being highly skilled, but also having so much willpower that he changed the future. Max won because his Cursebreaker is specifically made to kill the Dark Dragon, basically the Master Sword to Ganondorf.
Simply put, Yuri is just overall better than Max in almost every way.
From strength, speed, abilities, and skill, and probably sexes, and probably virginity, to his transformation and feats, probably not the third last one, but whatever, Yuri is overall better.
Yuri was just a shining example of the ultimate force.
The winner is Yuri.
Next time on Norges Battle!
You suffering? Does it hurt yet? Don't worry. I'll put you out of your misery. 開け! 砲兵級の扉! ジェミに閉門。アクエリアス! やっちゃって！私も一緒で構わないから！